Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, Knicks fans. It's ya boy. And you are now tuned into another episode of OU and Knicks podcast. I would like to thank everyone for being here right now. And I hope that you are doing well. I'd like to wish you all a happy Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas too. And thank you all for joining me. And if you are new to the channel, I welcome you and hope that you continue joining us. And for those who are a part of the Knicks mob, we couldn't do this without you and your support. And for that, we give a huge thanks. If you're a new or returning viewer and would like to support our channel, I humbly ask that you subscribe so you can stay up to date with all our latest videos and live streams and be a part of the Knicks mob, because that's what we are doing. Mobbing on these boys with this Knicks content. And as always, I'll be answering your questions and reading your comments about the Knicks, because as you know, I do appreciate you guys and want to know your thoughts. So let's talk Knicks. Oh yeah, and again, I'd like to thank all of those who sent me well wishes. Yes, I was out sick for a good week or so. It was the non-C word, I gotta say. I just had a stomach virus, but I'm doing okay and happy to be back with you guys. And I'm ready to talk some Knicks. Now, I gotta say that last night was truly a heartbreaker. Shout out to Suzette Lee. Shout out to Shalaska. I don't know how to say your name, Revolver. He said trade Randall. We are definitely going to get into Randall in this episode. Trust me. I doubt if they will bench Randall. Revolver, I doubt if they'll bench Randall, because I doubt if it's going to happen. I believe that they made that bed, so they got to live in it. You get what I'm saying? So, we could look forward to Randall being on the offense. You get what I mean? So I don't think Randall gonna be going anywhere anytime soon. Salute. Real King says salute. Salute. Salute to you too, brother. I hope everything is well. I hope that you and your family are doing well in this cold. Especially if you're in New York State, it's very cold right now. So, I hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to Suzette Lee. Shout out to Suzette Lee. I hope she's doing well as well. But I don't think we're going to be trading Randall. I don't think we're going to bench him, because they done made their bed, so they got to really lay in it, to be honest with you. But we are going to talk about last night's game and what we saw from Cardiac Kemba. Yes, what we saw from Cardiac Kemba. From the UConn days to the NCAA. This is what we are going to talk about. Now, when we look at Kemba Walker's stats, since Kemba Walker has been back into the starting lineup, yes, Real King, definitely. Stay blessed, bro. Stay blessed, man. And I hope you're going to be asking some questions in the comment section, because I do want to hear you guys' thoughts on what route we should really be taking with this team. What should the front office really be doing with the New York Knicks? Because no matter what we've seen from Kemba Walker these last few games, it's still not enough. And I'm sure that we could blame some of it on us not having all of our players due to being out in the health and safety protocols. But something has to be done for this team. So this is a question that I will be asking you guys. Shout out to Miss Lee. She said, I like what I saw from Walker. Yes. And let's get into Walker. Now, since Walker's been back, Kemba Walker scored 29 points against the Celtics. He had 21 points against the Pistons. And last night, he had 44 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. And let me tell you this one special thing that I really love that he had. 0 turnovers against the Wizards. Now, my thoughts is that Kemba has been truly showing, that benching him instead of Evan Fournier was a mistake. Let me know in the comment section, do you guys agree? Do you think that the Knicks should have benched Evan Fournier instead of Kemba Walker? Because I'll give you my point of view. I believe, and I still think, that the reason for Kemba Walker's benching was because Tom Thibodeau's job was on the line. I believe that the front office got to him and said, what's going on? We need to see some type of change. This is not the offense, the team that we constructed to be, and they're not living up to the hype. Is it you? Are you the problem? Are the players not listening to you? Are the players not buying into your strategy? And Tom Thibodeau did what any other coach would do, to be honest with you. He looked at something that he thought was the weakest link, and he made a change to it, with the aspiration of thinking that the team would get better by him doing that. Unfortunately for us, what we saw was that the team did not get better. The team has actually lost more without Kemba than they lost with Kemba. Now that's telling you something. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that Evan Fournier, right, definitely. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that Evan Fournier hasn't had a couple of good games. He has had a couple of good games. But through the majority of the time, what have we seen Evan Fournier give us? What did Evan Fournier give us last night? He gave us 8 points and a steal. And like I said, it's not like I'm trying to... Revolver said Fournier is a problem right now. I totally agree with you. Fournier is a problem right now because, like I've said in previous live streams, like I said in previous videos, Fournier cannot keep his player in front of him. And it's getting to the point where teams are searching out Evan Fournier. They know that he's the weakest link on the team. So they're choosing to go use any player that they have to go at him. Just like we saw with Kispert last night. What did Kispert and Dinwiddie, what did they do? Anytime Evan Fournier was on those guys, what did they do? They went straight at him. If he closed one lane, they ran around him and went to the other and scored. And not one time did he stop them. So right now, what should be done with the Knicks starting lineup? Do we insert Kemba Walker back in and live with what we have with Kemba, Fournier, RJ, Julius, and Mitch or Noel? Or do we take Evan Fournier out of the starting lineup because he is a defensive liability? Is the front office willing to chuck it up and realize that what they did was a mistake? Are they prepared to trade Evan Fournier? I ask you that. And sure, we could say, oh, the Knicks didn't have all of their players on their team. But the Wizards last night also was without Bradley Beal and KCP. So why was it that 7 Wizards players scored in double figures on the New York Knicks? Why was the strong side help. Excuse me. Revolver said, I don't like Fournier. I don't like Fournier only pass to Randall is frustrating. I think that maybe because the 1-2-3 man system on the team. Sorry for my English. I'm from Chile. New sub. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. I gotta get your first name right. Shala Shaska. Did I say it right? Shala Shaska. Revolver. I wish one day, man, when I get my phones up, man, I'm gonna have you call in. That way, cuz I definitely want to know your name. But like you just said, I completely agree. And thank you there. Thank you. All right. That's cool then. That's cool. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for becoming part of the Knicks family. You get what I mean? And like I was saying, I completely agree with you. The 1-2 punch between Randall and Fournier is very frustrating. I don't like, and I didn't like it last year how I felt that Reggie Bullock and Randall always faded out RJ. And I feel like they do the same thing now. But I feel like Fournier will most likely pass to RJ before Reggie Bullock was, because I mean, Reggie Bullock and Peyton will get up the court and they will look completely past RJ Barrett. Still a Knicks fan says, what's good, Knicks fam? Salute to the chat. Salute to OUA Knicks podcast. Salute to you also, homie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And if you missed some of what we was talking about, we was talking about Kemba Walker's performance last night and how the defense of Evan Fournier stopped us from even getting close to a win. And this is something that we've seen the entire season from Evan Fournier. From his lack of defense efficiency and his lack of offense efficiency. Like I said, I could live with Evan Fournier not being a good defensive player if he's going to put up 25 points per night. Because that'll get us over the hump of what their player, that could even out the playing field. But when you are not efficient on the defensive end, and then you're not efficient on the offensive end, that creates a huge problem for the Knicks. So what's the end result when it comes to Evan Fournier? Do we continue to leave him on the starting unit and risk our starting unit not being as efficient as they was last year with their defense? Or do we bench him where we have more defense-minded players that can maybe cover up for his mistake? Or the player that he's defended is not that level of player where they're going to go off on Evan Fournier. Still, Knicks fans said 44 in a losing effort. But props to Kemba. Why these guys can't all eat together? It's a bad mix of players. And we're definitely going to get to why it's a bad mix of players. Because we still have to talk about Julius Randle. And I know a lot of people going to say, hey, OUA, he scored 20-something points last night, but what did he go for? Julius Randle was like, 7 for... I don't even think 7. He could have been like 5 or 6 for like 22, 24 shots. This is where bully ball comes into effect with Julius Randle. This is where the leader things that I talk about comes into play with Julius Randle. How can you be an effective leader when you yourself... Julius Randle has completely changed from the player that he was last year. He's went back to the player he was that when he originally came to the Knicks, when he was in his tryout days. And it's affecting the team. It not only affects his play, but it affects the play of the players that are with him on the court. How many times have he's bullied the ball in ISO play and it went nowhere when he could have passed that ball to RJ Barrett or Evan Fournier or Kemba Walker and they could have got a shot off? How many times have we seen this from Julius Randle throughout the games. So when is we going to get to the point where we say enough is enough, Julius Randle? What you're giving us is not what we're paying you for. You're going to be making upwards of $29 million per year, and you can only muster out 8 points at sometimes, where you go on a streak of like 5 games where you're only scoring like 9 points, but you are willing to call yourself the leader of this team. And then you sit back and you pout about it and you don't play defense. Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest. Kuzma cooked Julius Randle last night. Especially what did he hit? He hit like 3 critical threes in the fourth quarter last night that was able to put them over the top and overcome the Knicks. Those wasn't on R.J. Barrett, because who didn't play, or let's say Obi Toppin, or Evan Fournier, or Mitchell Robinson. Those was on Julius. And we only see this problem with Julius Randle when what? He's not efficient on the offensive end. When he feels like he's not getting calls, when he feels like he's not getting his shots the way that he wants to, he gets frustrated. And what does he do? He stops playing defense. So what does the team have to do in order to get in his mind that, yeah, okay, you're not getting that call. Yeah, okay, you're not hitting your post up fadeaway shot. What can this organization, being Tom Thibodeau, get into Julius Randle's head to where he accepts that and changes his style of play? I need an answer for that. Can any of y'all give me some insight on that? Because I truly don't know. I really don't. Because what I see is repetitive and repetitive and repetitive with Randle. And when is people going to get it through their head? When is Tom Thibodeau going to get it through his head that this is what's costing us these games? Why should us as the fans be more aware of this than the coaches? Why is Julius Randle walking up the court arguing with the refs while his man is driving to the basket scoring? Why? Why is Tom Thibodeau not calling him out for the BS that he's doing? Because I constantly see him do it on the court, and Tom Thibodeau says absolutely nothing. Still, a Knicks fan said, I still think Randle needs a true point guard and a wing defender that can unlock RJ. I hope that's what you meant, RJ. I don't know. That may work. Maybe if the ball is not in Julius Randle's hand as much, he could be more efficient. So that brings me to question this. By what we've seen from Kemba Walker, is that reason enough to keep Kemba Walker in the starting lineup? But because we have a true point guard, like you said, on the team in Miles McBride, should we, just being honest, should we insert Miles McBride into the starting lineup? Suzette Lee said he has to learn to play in the flow of the offense and move the ball. I completely agree. He's not playing within the offense. Because what do you see? Everybody, when the ball is not in Julius Randle's hand, what is everybody doing? Moving. But what is he doing? standing around every time, standing around, looking at this person, looking at that person to see what they're going to do. Still, a Knicks fan say he's doing more than he can on the defensive end. He needs less responsibility. I won't say that Julius Randle was a bad defender. What I would say about Julius Randle is that he picks the wrong times not to defend. He will let the call of the ref get him so out of himself to where he's not focused on defending. And that's when a player is going to choose to go at you. If they know you're not paying, if they know that you're not paying attention to him, which Kyle Kuzma did, they're going to take advantage and they're going to score on you. Yeah, it's about the point guard. Randle should not be bringing up the ball up the court. Tibbs is using him wrong. Well, I wouldn't say Tibbs is necessarily using Randle wrong because that's what worked last season. So Tibbs is going with what worked for him. But in the life of a coach, you still have to be aware of when to change your offense. And that's where Tibbs is failing at. He's not changing his offense to cater more to a point guard like Kemba Walker. Because when we see last night, when we seen the ball was more in Kemba Walker's hands, what did we see happen? We saw a 44-piece chicken McNugget meal dropped on the Wizards' heads. But what did we also see in the midst of that? Julius Randle standing on the side and can't get a shot off. And then when he did get the ball, what did he do? He ISO with it. And what did that lead to? It led to strips, turnovers, or it led to him taking a bad shot. And Julius Randle, another thing that he has to learn is that you can't always shoot threes. Shout out to Daniel Rosario. He said either Tibbs sends Julius to the bench or else get himself fired from his coaching duties. Play the kids. Julius is detrimental to the development of Toppin and the youth. Don't forget R.J. Barrett. And that's something that I completely agree with. I believe in my heart that Julius Randle is taking the shine from the youth. I believe that his ball hogging ways has become so like you said, to the team, detrimental to the team, that he is no longer a teammate. He is a tyrant to this team. When is enough enough? How long do we have to live and die with Julius Randle? Let me see. Could you pull up what he had? What his field goal percentage was? I want to know what was Julius Randle's. Do any of you guys type it in the chat if you know it? What was Julius Randle's percentages last night? I want to know that. You found it? I probably can look it up. I want to know, guys. Do any of you guys in the chat know what was Julius Randle's percentages last night? What did he go for? I believe it was like 5 for 20 something. Like 5 for 22 or 5 for 24. What was it, guys? Let me know. What was Julius Randle's percentages last night against the Washington Wizards? Let me see. Because I could find it. I know I could find it. Still a Knicks fan said, yeah, but last season was different. And this season, the team is clearly not the same. The NBA is different too. They have game plans for this Knicks team. I completely agree. So, where do we go from there? Do we fire Tibbs? Do we get rid of Julius Randle because it's apparent that he is not going to come out of his ball hogging ways? What do the Knicks do in order for them to be able to compete in this league? Because just like you said, the league has changed. Chicago Bulls got better. The Wizards got better. Charlotte got better. We could say that, the Atlanta Hawks had a drop off, but Miami's got better. The Bucks are still the same. The Nets are still there. You get what I'm saying? That's 6 teams right there that I've named that for sure. Philly. 7 teams right there that I've just named that are clearly better than the New York Knicks. So what can we do? Now, when it concerns Julius Randle last night, Julius Randle went 10 for 22, which is not that bad when he finished off. And he finished off with 23 points. But here's the kicker. He didn't start getting those points until late in the fourth quarter, where you knew that it was pretty much over. They wasn't trying to foul him. Yeah, I just seen the 10 for 22 for 23 points. Like I said, it's not that bad. But when did he get those shots off? When it didn't matter. Those was garbage points. When they wasn't trying to foul him because they already knew that they had the game. In the first half of the game, Julius Randle was like 4 for like 17, 4 for 16. This is when the game mattered. This is during Kemba Walker's run. We don't need you to put up those points in garbage time. We need you to put those points up when it matters, Julius Randle. We don't need you to get an assist when the game's out of hand. We need you to get an assist when the game is tied. We need you to make a leadership play when the game is tied, not when the game doesn't matter. Too many times we've seen Julius Randle fade out other players for the benefit of himself. That is selfishness. Too many times where we've seen Tom Thibodeau call out ISO for Julius Randle and he fades out and does a mistake. How long is the front office going to continue to let Tom Thibodeau do this when it's clearly not working? How long do we have to go through this? That's all I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, guys? That is all that I'm saying. And I'm not going to hold you guys for 50 years. I'm not going to make this too long. But those are the questions that I have for the front office. Now, another thing that I wanted to touch base on was the simple fact of there's a rumor flowing around that RJ Barrett's spot is no longer solidified in the starting lineup. Still, Knicks fans said, I think what Tibbs should do immediately is give Randle a day of rest. Maybe right after tomorrow's game. But what would that prove? Is that a rest because I need you to reevaluate yourself? Is that a rest because he feels that he's maybe took a load on Julius Randle from playing him all these minutes? Because if it's not a rest with a stern talk that says, listen, you need to stop doing what you're, excuse me, I hit the mic. If it's not a rest to say that you need to stop doing what you're doing to improve this team, then I don't know what the rest is for. Could he be tired? Sure. Could he be mentally strained after just having his wife just having a baby? Sure. So we got to figure out what this rest is going to be about. Because if it's just for you to take a load off and go relax, and nothing in your mindset changes, then you need to take a real long rest. Fake an injury or something, because the way Julius Randle is playing is not beneficial to this team. Now I wanted to get back to yes to all of that. Plus he needs to get out of his own head. I definitely think that I totally agree with you. Julius Randle is definitely in his own head. He's still a Knicks fan. Said, I also think it's good for him to sit back and watch the team move without him. Oh man, it's like you be in my private conversation, still a Knicks fans. This is what I say all the time about Julius Randle. Maybe he needs to sit back and look how the team plays without him. How they move the ball. How everything is on a string. How they're committed on defense. How they're committed to doing what's right for the team. I promise you, still a Knicks fan. I promise you. But let me know, guys. What do you think about this with Wally Zerbiak saying that Alex Burks needs to remain in the starting lineup? Do you guys feel that Alex Burks needs to remain in the starting lineup? Or do you feel that RJ Barrett is made for the starting lineup and should remain in the starting lineup? Let me know. And then I got one more question for you guys, and then we're going to get up out of here because I want to know you guys' thoughts too. Me personally, I feel that RJ Barrett needs to remain in the starting lineup. Tibbs alluded to it when he said that he believes that, Alex Burks can play a starter or coming off the bench. And that's something that I completely agree with. I do agree that I believe that Alex Burks is more of a versatile, how he doesn't really need the ball in his hands to be, effective. He doesn't really need to run the show in order to be effective. He accepts his role, he plays his role, and he goes about his business. So I do think that RJ Barrett will be more suited in the starting lineup. But if there was a case to be made, I believe that maybe Evan Fournier should be switched out with Alex Burks. So we could have a lineup of Kemba Walker, Alex Burks, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitch or Noel, whoever Tibbs choose. Because when we really look at the defensive efficiency of the New York Knicks, we have to point to Evan Fournier. Because players have to continually help when he makes a mistake, and then he's not producing on the offensive end. Still a Knicks fan said, I actually want RJ to play with the bench and ball out. I think that the second unit will be RJ's unit. I think Alex Burks helps Kemba and Mitch. If Fournier had played well, they could have won that game. I agree. I agree that they could have won the game, but I don't see the benefit of having RJ Barrett, come off of the bench. I don't believe it's enough shots for RJ Barrett on the bench with Obi, especially when Rose come back. That I don't think that. So the Knicks fan said, facts, Fournier is a problem, especially when he's out there with Kemba. Super liability. Yes, he is a super liability on the court. That's why I say I'd rather have Fournier come off the bench, despite his contract. We got to get out of the politics and do what's right for the team. See, that's what's going on. That's what's going wrong with the Knicks right now. They're so fixed on the politics of what they did that they're trying to just throw a coin in the wishing well and see what comes out. And that's not what's working. You have to do what's good for your team. Now, I have to say something. Alex Burks is a streaky shooter. Man, still Knicks fans said, I think RJ has to be the focus. The bench needs to feed RJ, then Rose is secondary. But you know that's not what's going to happen. You know that Quickly is not a good passer, in my opinion. He's not there yet to be a pass first point guard. He's a shooter. Obi really needs a player like Alex Burks on the team to feed him lobs. We've seen RJ Barrett coexist with the starting unit, and not only that, pass to Mitch or Kimba or even Fournier and Randall. We've seen them hit shots off of a RJ Barrett pass. So I feel like with RJ, that'll just be too young. You get what I mean? I believe you need an older person on that bench with them. And I feel like maybe Evan Fournier could be that guy that goes on a bench and thrives with Quickly, because Quickly's going to defend. We have to admit that Quickly and Obi has become a better defender. The only thing outside of that I would recommend is trading Evan Fournier in order to bring McBride. To bring Quentin Grimes into the fold and let him cook. So the Knicks fans say you're right about that. McBride needs to play more. The IQ experiment at point guard is over for me. I totally agree. And I won't say that Quickly is a bad passer. I just won't say that he's an adequate passer. I believe that it's a lot of open men that when Quickly is on the court, it's a lot of open shots that he misses. It's a lot of open passes that Quickly is supposed to make that he doesn't make. So, as far as I believe that RJ Barrett should remain on the starting unit, I believe if anybody should be taken out of the starting unit, it should be Evan Fournier. Now, let's get to this last thing before I let you guys go, man. Again, I would like to thank all of you guys for, just being here with me and rocking out with me. And if you're a new viewer and you want to support, make sure that you like and subscribe and link in with me on Twitter at OUA Knicks fan page. Type it up and you're going to find me. Now, here is my prediction. My prediction is that the Knicks will eventually find things out and the Knicks will eventually get back to winning. I believe that with the resurgence of Kemba Walker and how he's acclimated himself to the team and the way that I saw RJ Barrett going hard before he got, put in the protocol, the way I seen Obi going, the way I seen Grimes going, the way I seen McBride going, I believe that a stretch of winning is in the future. I don't know if it's this current run that we're about to be on after we play tomorrow, but I know that a stretch is going to be coming. So I just want you guys to know that, give this team a chance because at the end of the day, they're still figuring out. No matter what I say about Julius Randle, we have to understand that they are still trying to figure it out. And though I may say that sometimes Julius Randle can be a little bit selfish, I do believe that he still wants what's best for the team. I still think that Julius Randle wants to win. So if you bring all of that together and it's a collective effort for the team, I believe that eventually Julius Randle will, relent to how he's supposed to play the game. And that's all I want for this team. So, my prediction is that the Knicks will win tomorrow. They will beat the Atlanta Hawks convincingly at home. And I also believe that the Knicks, when they come back off of this break, the Knicks are going to go on a run. And, for those of you who view this afterwards, thank you also for viewing. And for those of you who've been rocking with me all this time, thank you also for rocking with your boy. Trust and believe. Oh yeah, thank you for all the well wishes. Yes, I was sick. I was feeling terrible, guys, and I wanted to drop this Knicks content for you guys. I know it's been a week since I've seen you guys. Trust and believe, I've been missing you guys because I love rocking with you guys. So I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me. I've seen the support. I love the support, and trust and believe. Know that this is just the beginning. We're gonna be doing plenty more things in the future. So, I just want you all to stay blessed. Have a Merry Christmas. Most likely, I'll talk to you guys before the New Year's. So, I'll be giving you those well wishes then. So, until then, have a Merry Christmas and remember to always lead by example.
I'm gonna whoop your ass.